What are beyond the limits of wakefulness? The record keepers of extraordinary human feats have drawn a firm line. No longer will they honor attempts to endure the longest stretch without sleep. Evidence has mounted, heavy and unyielding, revealing the perils of such defiance. Consider feats they still celebrate. A daring soul, Lena Voss, soaring 130,000 feet skyward in a helium craft, clad in a pressure suit, stepping out to plummet earthward at 850 methostations, shattering the sound barrier with a thunderclap born of flesh alone. Yet, the toll of sleeplessness is deemed too steep, its dangers too profound, for even these chroniclers of extremes to sanction. What sways such a verdict? The revelations ahead unveil the havoc wreaked by sleep's absence on the mind, tethering it to a host of afflictions. Think memories fade, spiraling moods, or the brain's silent strokes, and on the body's every corner, fueling maladies from weakened defenses to relentless weight. No thread of human existence escapes unscathed. Vitality, thought, emotion, and society itself hinge on rest's embrace. This exploration delves into the mind's ruin under sleep's scarcity, a tale of peril and loss. What follows will trace the body's parallel descent, equally grim and no less lethal. The fragile thread of focused sleeplessness claims lives in myriad ways, some slow, others swift. Among the first to falter is the mind's grip on attention, a collapse with dire echoes in the world. Nowhere is this clearer than on the roads, where exhaustion turns wheels into weapons. Every hour, a life slips away in the U.S., snuffed out by a fatigue-borne misstep. Two culprits steer these tragedies. The rarer is a driver wholly lost to slumber, a plunge demanding days without rest, perhaps 22 hours or more. Far more frequent is a fleeting lapse, a shadow sleep lasting mere seconds. Eyes droop or shut, a veil falls over awareness, and this flicker, common among those routinely stinting on rest, netting under 7 hours, halts command of the wheel or brake. 2 seconds at 35 mph can send a car veering across lanes, perhaps into another's path. At 70 mph, it may be the final drift. A luminary in sleep science, Clara Henshaw of Penn State, has probed a timeless query. How long can the mind endure wakefulness before it frays? How much rest can be shaved away, night by night, before cracks appear? Do the weary even sense their own decline? How many nights of reprieve mend the damage? Henshaw's method is elegantly simple. A test where a light flashes and a button must be pressed swiftly. Responses, and their delays, are tallied as lights dance unpredictably across minutes. Picture this task stretching over 10 minutes daily for 2 weeks, tracked in a sterile lab. Volunteers begin refreshed, with 8 hours of slumber, then split into 4 camps. One endures 3 sleepless nights. Others receive 4, 6, or 8 hours nightly. 3 truths emerge. First, while reaction slows with any sleep loss, the real marker is silence. Moments of no response, shadow sleeps akin to missing a child darting into traffic. Imagine a steady hum, tick, 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 then a jarring stall, tick, tick, sss. Alertness flatlines, then stutters back, only to falter again. Second, the toll scales starkly. The 8-hour cohort holds steady, near flawless. The sleepless trio sees lapses surge over 400% after one night, doubling each night hence, a relentless climb with no plateau. More alarming, 6 nights at 4 hours rivals a full day awake. By day 11, it matches 48 hours without rest. 10 days at 6 hours, a rhythm many know, mirrors 24 hours of wakefulness, with no end to the spiral in sight. A parallel study by Dr. Victor Lang at the Army Research Center echoes this, testing 9, 7, 5, and 3 hours over a week. Third, and most chilling, the sleep-starved misjudge their own haze. Self-reports clash with reality, akin to a tipsy soul swearing sobriety while fumbling keys. Chronic skimping resets the norm. Dullness becomes home, vitality's erosion unnoticed, a slow bleed into frailty, few link to rest's absence. Vast numbers linger in this dim state, their potential dimmed by a habit science decries. Recovery, too, disappoints. 3 nights of catch-up fail to restore the pristine baseline of 8-hour days, nor reclaim lost hours. The mind cannot binge on rest like a feast after famine. A stark trial in Australia later pitted the sleepless against the drunk. 19 hours awake equaling a .08 blood alcohol slur, both stumbling alike on Henshaw's test, a sobering mirror to late-night drives. Roads bear this cost. Each week, over 1.8 million U.S. drivers nod off, 200,000 daily. Yearly, 1 million crashes traced to drowsiness. Every 35 seconds of this text, a collision. Within this reading, a death likely struck. Fatigue outstrips drink and drugs combined, its silence deadlier than their stagger. A dozing driver doesn't brake or swerve, a ton of steel hurdles unchecked at 60 mph. Truckers amplify the threat, many burdened by excess weight and breath-halting sleep woes, spiking crash odds 200–400%. Their wrecks often claim 4 lives, alongside their own. These are no mere mishaps. Foreseeable, preventable, they demand the term crash, yet public warnings whisper where they should roar. One tale cuts through. January 2008, Laurel County, Kentucky. A bus with 10 students pauses at a crossing. A sedan with 6 trails it, halted. A freight rig thunders up, unslowing, crushing the car beneath, shoving both into a gulch. Flames swallow the sedan. The bus spins, slams trees. 4 students are hurled out. All 6 in the car perish, 3 from one kin, plus the bus driver. The rig's pilot, sober but awake 36 hours, had drifted off. Ages spanned 18 months to 17 years. A plea rings out, halt if drowsiness creeps in, no will can outlast it. Can brief rest mend the gap? In the 1980s, Henshaw teamed with Dr. Elena Royce, a transport safety sage, to weigh brief naps against relentless wakefulness. Their work, born in aviation's crucible, birthed the vitality nap. Landings, the flight's perilous end, cluster 70% of catastrophic wrecks. Pilots, drained by 30 sleepless hours, falter. Tasked by air regulators, they asked, when best to slot a 120-minute nap in a 36-hour haul, dusk, midnight, or morn, to curb mental drift? Counterintuitively, they bet on early naps as a shield, buffering the brain before exhaustion's siege. Data proved them right. Evening naps cut shadow sleeps at flight's close, unlike later rests when damage was done. Electrodes confirmed fewer doze intrusions in the final stretch. Dubbed guardian naps, regulators balked at the term's jest, settling on vitality naps for its commanding ring. Yet a myth took root. A 20-minute doze could sustain endless short nights, caffeine as co-conspirator. No elixir, nap, brew, or grit replaces sleep's full weave. Vitality naps lift focus fleetingly, but memory, reason, and calm elude rescue. Henshaw challenges claimants of short sleep prowess to his lab. None have prevailed. A rare few thrive. On 6 hours, a genetic quirk in a gene called REST9, vastly outnumbered, less likely than a lightning strike, they defy the norm. For most, the odds of such resilience round to nil. The storm of unrested minds. I lost it, and words. Heralding chaos as a guard snaps at a taunt, a healer at a demand, a caregiver at a tantrum. Sleep's lapse unravels emotion, a truth folk wisdom grasps. A child's tears signal a night too short, moods souring by dawn. Science now maps this tempest. A study scanned 2 groups, one rested, one sleepless, viewing images from mundane. A chair, a stone, to dire, a blaze, a poised rattler. The unrested showed a 65% surge in the ember core, a twin-sided brain knot sparking rage and flight while the rested held steady. Without sleep, restraint dissolves, raw impulses rule. Why? The helm seat, atop the eyes, tames the ember core with reason's reins when rested. Sleepless, this link frays. Too much fire, no steady hand. Japan scholars mirrored this with 5 nights at 5 hours. The same unmooring persists. Moods. Swing wildly sans rest, from prickly to giddy and back, prompting a probe into joy's pull. The reward well, dopamine-drenched, flared at thrills, racing vistas, coin piles, ungoverned by the helm seat. Sleep loss doesn't darken alone. It amplifies all poles, a pendulum unbound. This duality menaces. Gloom breeds despair, even self-harm. Teen studies tie sleep's rift to dire thoughts, a second-ranked reaper in youth. Aggression festers too, from schoolyards to cells, where rest's scarcity fans fury. Joy's excess courts recklessness, addictions, lure, relapses trigger, rooted in childhood's thin sleep. Psychiatry sees sleep awry in every major ill, mood dips, panic, trauma's echo, split minds. Once deemed a symptom, new light casts it as kin, a two-way dance where sleep's loss may ignite or stoke the fire, a lever yet untapped. In bipolar realms, a night's theft jolted stable souls to mania or abyss, hinting sleep's breach as spark, not shadow. Reverse it, bolster rest via thought-shaping therapy, and symptoms ease, a balm across disorders. Such healing underscores sleep's quiet might. For some depressed, a sleepless night lifts the fog, a third finding solace where most sink deeper. Reward wells flare may ease their joyless void. For others, gloom doubles. Sorting this riddle could refine rest's cure. Memories fading echo ever braved a night unclaimed by sleep? At a coastal college, a survey of scholars unveils a grim rite. 80% chase dawn for exams, a third monthly or more. Does it sharpen recall? A brain scan trial tested this. Half slept, half watched the stars, then learned facts at noon post-recovery. The sleepless lagged 45%. Their memory vault, the lore keep, mute where the rested hummed. Even shallow rest, pierced by soft chimes, dulls this vault. Facts cling weakly, fading fast. Rat brains show synapses stunted, proteins stalled. Sleeps. Lack scars the lore keep's very code, a sand sculpture washed away. An editorial once chided not pupils, but mentors for cramming tests at term's end, a folly thwarting learning's aim. Space trials, not piled feasts, now guide the course, a nod to rest's role in rooting recall. Miss sleep post-study, and no later glut mends it. Memory's forge demands the night's first flame. The shadow of mind's decline, dreaded twins haunt modernity, memories theft and silent growths. Sleep binds to both. Here, the mind's unraveling. Named in 1903 by Dr. Emil Krauss, this thief stalks 45 million, surging as lives lengthen and rest shrinks. 1 in 9 over 65 bears its mark. Sleep whispers hope, early alert, shield, cure. As years pile, deep rest thins, memory wanes. In this disease, the fade is sharper, a herald years before, worsening with its grip. Most afflicted wrestle sleep's foes, night waking rife. Truth dawns, a toxic shard, amber clot, piles in the brain, slaying cells. It clusters oddly, sparing the lore keep yet striking the brow mid, deep rest's cradle. Studies with Dr. Theo. Brandt at a Western university tied amber clots load there to rest's ruin, unique beyond age's toll, hinting at an early sign. A chain unfolds. Heavy amber clot dims deep rest, thwarting memory's hold. Overnight, oblivion reigns. Yet, does sleeplessness sow the clot? Dr. Linnea Voss's mice revealed a brain cleanser, the washnet, surging in deep rest to purge amber clot and kin, tau, stress vestiges. Block this, and clots swell. Wake scars subtly, sleep heals. A vicious loop spins. Clots choke rest's source, weakening the washnet, piling more clots. Data warns. Thin sleep over decades hikes the thief's risk. Leaders famed for scant rest, Clara Holt, Victor Gray, fell to it. Today's boastful sleeper may heed this echo. Better rest in midlife, studies hint, slows the thief's march. By years, a statin for the mind's future. Sleep's not the sole key, but its weight grows clear in staving off this shadow.